Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Demolisher6039 and welcome again to my channel. I'm going to basically give you guys a review of the demo for Anthem. And this is the second week that they actually came out with it. Hoping that they come out with it next week too, because there is still some problems they need to work on. So, without further ado, let's get into it. And let's start with the loading problems, because last time when they actually came out with the VIP the VIP demo, it actually had a problem where it would actually freeze at 97 to like 95%. So let's focus on that first. So the game officially loads you in, but we do have another pressing matter that needs to be addressed. So one of them is actually staying in the game. So for instance, sometimes the server will actually cut out and then throw you completely back into this first person character, which is your main character, or out of the suit javelin. So that part kind of gets annoying over a very large portion of time. And most games have the situation where this is actually counteracted by having the game actually be online optional, meaning that you can do whatever the heck you want to do, and you know, you can just do whatever the heck you want to do as an individual while the server actually gets disconnected. So in this case, you'll actually be out in free mode, or you'll be out doing the main campaign or something like that, and you won't officially lose connection and stop the game completely and go back into first person. You will then actually be you know, resuming the game from your current position. The other thing is that open world events. I absolutely love the open world events because they have their own enemy colossus. They have their own, depending on which faction you fight, that is. And they have some of their like own enemy rangers. They have their own storms, and I haven't seen really much of any kind of like enemy interceptors, and thank God, because those would be the most pain in the butts of the situation. Because if you think about it, I've actually even fought up against the enemy rangers, which are the lancers. Those were even a tough cookie themselves, because they even do our own ultimates. And thank God the Colossus doesn't do that, or the enemy Colossus doesn't do that, because having those would probably be a pain in the butt. So, open world events. So sometimes you get like main big ass enemies, and as you can see from one of my, what the heck? Okay, so as you can also see, there's some little glitches and bugs they still need to work out on. There was one of my broadcasts that you guys will actually find out in a main campaign that I actually had lost my squad. I fell through a rock and I went the other opposing direction to try to see if I could fix the situation. Turns out even that didn't work. When it came to trying to get back in the map, it literally didn't work. I even tried falling off of the map, doing a melee and dropping as fast as I possibly could. That situation didn't even help itself either. So that in return needs to be fixed. So like, say if you fall off the map, not your character dies or anything, but your character needs to have a way of actually spawning back on the map. The other thing was too, is for the tutorial guys, I don't know if you guys know this, but switching your weapons is to hold down square. So maybe you eventually did lose ammo after a while, and then you just sat there and got the notification, oh, you hold down square to lose, to switch weapons. So just to notify you guys, that also needs to be rethought of. Like, I think the tutorial itself needs to be rethought of. Also for the Colossus, you can actually press the X button to jump and actually hold it to start with to actually gain some ground, and then press it again to get some kind of like jetpack type turbines kind of situation going on there. So let's get down to another question: game mechanics. I think the game mechanics itself was actually... I think it's pretty well set up, but I do think that there is quite a bit that they could still work on. So, like, for instance, the Colossus himself doesn't distinctly have any of his own shields. So, when it comes to his shield, which is by pressing the circle button, this thing doesn't even allow you to hold and use the flamethrower, yet the enemy Colossus can hold and use the flamethrower at the same time. So it just takes it off, and you can't even use your own specials at the same time of using the weapon. So that needs to be reworked. Like, so basically, if the enemies can do it, why can't we do it? I mean, yeah, it makes it a little bit harder for the game, and I kind of like that feature, but at the same time, we have extra difficulty settings to where it actually becomes harder. And the Colossus itself doesn't even have its own set of shields, it only has an actual battering ram type shield. So, that right there should pretty much say that, you know, this needs to be thought of a little differently. And the best part about using the ram is that you can actually, you know, hit enemies while you're in the sky, as you just saw that I could do there. And here's the other situation. Now, you saw my, if you guys didn't see it before, but my health bar, or sorry, I guess you would call it armor, technically, my health bar at the top left-hand corner was actually much higher than it actually was earlier, but when I started using the shield, I glitched it out to the point where actually the actual armor itself just got dwindled. It no longer is the powerhouse that it was. So that is another situation of the mechanics that needs to be brought up, that needs to be fixed on. So, the one thing is, I definitely like this grenade launcher. It eats up a lot of ammo, but, you know, I like these weapons and such. They definitely work better. So the other thing is, too, is there actually is one cave that they have in here that we actually can't enter, and I unfortunately don't remember which one it was. And I'm not going to access the menu as I'm currently being shot at, so give me 1 second and let me try to see if I can figure that out. It'll probably be one that's actually on the border, like this guy here. Oh yeah, you definitely can't access that one, but it looks like it might be this guy, the Haven. So let's try to see if we can actually enter that, since we're apparently pretty close by. So the other thing, oh my goodness, I had it and I totally did not write that down, and I should have wrote that down, which I'm too stupid to even have thought of. So I do like this kind of situation where you actually have friendlies in the area, and you can choose to help them out or choose to let them die. So I like that mechanic as well. Alright, so the other thing, my goodness. Okay. What type of javelin did I not like and why? Okay, so what I would basically say, the one that was my least favorite was the Storm, because of the fact that I just can't distinctly I don't distinctly actually know how to use the character itself, just because of that reason. But some people absolutely love the Storm because of the fact that they know how to use it. Over time, it seems like it would actually be able to, it would be a better character to actually use, but the only one that I seem to have interest in would actually be the Interceptor and the Colossus, because those two distinctly, for me, the reason why that is because Interceptor is primarily melee and I'm primarily a melee character, for instance. So because of the fact that, you know, Interceptor is practically melee, like, pretty much the whole way, is the reason why that would be my primary. So because of the fact that the Storm isn't much my favorite is because of the fact it's primarily a distance combat type character. Now, the Colossus himself is primarily close range, and also distance all at the same time. So this character doesn't really much bother me either. So that's that out of the way. And What did I dislike and like of the Anthem demo? Well, the reason why I disliked it and I liked it all at the same time was because of the fact that it wasn't really a long demonstration of the game itself. So because of the fact that they had problems, they actually decided to take it back every 2 days and then work on it. The other reason for this, for me not liking this distinctly, is because every demo is going to be distinctly a, what would you call it? A online required demonstration. So, but every single one of them is going to be like this, but the game itself, I'm hoping, will eventually be a online optional game. Due to the fact of this being the fact is because Warframe has the same problem, where they close down their servers to go work on what they need to work on. And it's not their fault distinctly, but okay, that's another game mechanical problem. The enemies despawn when there's a public event that's actually nearby, and you actually waste your abilities on it, and it doesn't refresh your abilities. There's no distinct way for it to actually know this, so I think the way that it would be to actually have it is, just the enemies nearby just are a public event or something, and, we don't want you to just sit there and lose your, enemies that happen to be close by, so we're not going to just sit there and refresh all of them in general, but we're also not just going to throw out the opportunity of having a tougher battle by having more enemies in sight. Because if you do eventually, hate the difficulty, hey, you can just sit there and lower the difficulty. However, just make a mental note that the difficulty that you pick also determines what kind of equipment that you get. So for like hard, you get rare equipment, whereas to playing for normal or even easier difficulties, and that's another thing that kind of goes on here, is that, yeah, I'm gonna die. Let's just scoot on out of the battle. Things just need to work properly, but, there's some times where there's some fights where you can't just do on your own. Now, the other thing with game mechanics would be, this is what I wanted to talk about. Okay. So, when you launch from the public, when you launch into free mode or you launch into the supply raids, those I would feel that should be set as private or public in general, but it forces you every time to be public or forces you to be public. It doesn't allow you to be independent at all. So I believe that should be changed, because there are some people that have no idea what they're doing, and it becomes a level of aggravation. Or say maybe a friend of yours will be back in like 5 minutes and you're waiting for him to be back, but another player takes that person's spot. You can no longer wait for that other player to actually help you, and you get a person that has no idea what they're doing, or they just started with the demo and they just literally, they ruin everything. So that's one thing. So that's one thing that I really find as a problem, because the fact that I don't really necessarily like other players that just have no idea what they're doing, and nor do I actually distinctly want to help them out just because they want my help. If I were to want to help them out, I would click the quick play and help them out on their campaigns, rather opposed to having a situation where I'm trying to do something as an individual and not have any problems of doing my own thing at the same time. So that is one thing I absolutely think that they need to work on. I also do believe, like I said, and I strongly believe this one, is, I think I covered this one, but I'm not 100% sure, so just let me cover this and then I will close, because the fact that I believe I've covered everything. So, I do believe that they need to make this an online optional game, because of the fact, like I said, I believe I said, that you could actually resume the game where you were, rather than just sitting there and being like, oh my god, I'm back in first person and all that junk. So, you know, that situation needs to be addressed, I would feel. So, I don't know about you guys, but I know that online required games allow them to be constantly connected to the internet, which then allows the game to quote-unquote download faster. But for me, I don't know about you guys, but it still takes me the same amount of time. Plus, when the game itself actually goes to close its servers down, like for instance, when the servers get to be closed down and all that such, it, you know, the game is no longer available at all. It's like the same thing. Oh, and just for a note, you guys, when it comes to the PlayStation 3, they will be closing their servers on March, so you make sure if you have anything else you need to do on there, you make sure you get that done. So like for instance, if you need to get your profile on for Mass Effect Andromeda, and you completely deleted your profile for Mass Effect 3, you might want to get that done, because that in return will no longer be available to actually download to Andromeda, so make sure you get that done fast. So if you have any games where you can actually download your profile, make sure you actually at least have one to download, and you better get that done fast. I literally discovered that like 3 days ago, and I wanted to throw one out, a review earlier, but I had no time to actually do it. I was focused on doing the challenges for Ghost Recon Wildlands and getting the abandoned car, which, remind you guys, that is the police Crown Victoria, so sit there and grab that if you have the opportunity of grabbing that. It's a really quick, easy spot, and it's not that really bad of a spot to actually grab it from. So it's a quick, easy grab, and just make sure you know, grab that real fast. Monday is the last day to grab that. Make sure you grab it before it closes. So that's it, guys. That's what I think they should do. And I'm really happy with the free mode type stuff, so I gotta basically say I did fight another boss in one of my broadcasts a couple days ago, and I hope that these events actually happen to bring out tougher and more harder enemies in public events, because that one was actually a very interesting event where these other characters were actually captured, and they were actually brought into a situation where we needed to set them free and all that. So that was actually a very fun mission. And I hope that that enemy shows up again, because that enemy was a very tough enemy compared to even fighting this Titan, because this Titan's already been figured out, and I'm kind of bored of the Titan compared to the other enemy that I actually fought against. So if you want to figure out how to take down that enemy, and unfortunately I don't remember its name at this moment, so if you want to go find out what that enemy was, it was actually on my Ranger gameplay video. It's where my friends and I actually ran around as 3 Rangers, and we tried to take down that target ourselves, and we actually died one time, until I actually started figuring it out how to beat it. If you want to figure out how to beat that enemy and who it was, you definitely want to jump onto my profile and go ahead and watch that video on my Ranger demonstration of exploration, because that character was one of my favorites, and I hope to fight that thing again, but unfortunately I tried finding it, never could find it again, and it was, like I said, it was a public event. The other thing is now, as you guys can see, for a while now, the public events have actually stopped, and it's because of new other players coming into free play and it kind of shifts through players and it kind of throws it off, I guess. So it tries to filter out, I guess, the type of gameplay styles, or not the gameplay styles, the amount of public events that it tried to come out with, and tried to make sure, oh, we didn't bring out the second one in a row, so it kind of glitched out. So now there's no public events for a while. But anyway, guys, that's going to basically do it. So the server's eventually going to close down really soon. And that's why I was trying to get some gameplay in here at the same time. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and if you guys did agree with my my review of this gameplay, and you agree with, you know, like almost practically everything I said, like even for the Colossus and such, because the Colossus can be a lot tougher, and the Colossus is supposed to be like the juggernaut of the group. It is the juggernaut, but at the same time, it has a lot of problems, and this is why I don't see many people using this one. But if you were to sit there and work on it a little bit, or if they were to work on it a little bit more and get us a tougher setup, like I said, for the enemy Colossus, you could hold out the ram shield and yet use the flamethrower at the same time. That would be a little interesting, because the enemies can do that, so why can't ours? So maybe it's a certain perk that we could earn maybe on throughout the campaign, and that would be a very interesting situation. Like, as you can see right there, that's a perfect example. He's using his flamethrower while his shield's out. Now watch, as you see right here, there he is. He's using it right now, and I can't even use mine at the same time. So if you guys think that it would be in agreements that that's something you want to see, because maybe you're a Colossus type player and you're a heavy hitter just like I am, maybe you want to sit there and have this feature brought in. If you do, write in the comment, write a comment below, and subscribe for more future videos that are going to be such as this. Because when this game officially pops out, I'm not canceling my pre-order, due to the fact that I believe that there's a lot of potential that's into this game that they're going to actually bring out. And not only that, but I believe that, you know, if I take away my pre-order, you know, that takes away money for them to fix the game. And if everybody truly wants this game to come out and be the true potential that it's going to be, and you cancel your pre-order, that's not going to help them in the slightest. So being patient and waiting and seeing how it happens is going to be how it is. But however, when they come out with their last beta or their last download, that is where is going to be the question of how is this distinctly going to be. So whether it's going to be good or not will be shown on that last demo. And, you know, they did improve it over the last week. So they fixed one problem, but they have another. It happens. So it's stuff that's going to happen. Just be patient with them as best as you can. If you know, you feel that you need to take your money back, then by all means take your money back. But just to let you know, if you're still wanting to buy this game and you're not really being patient with it and you're taking your pre-order back, you're not really helping the situation, you're actually making it worse. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys did like this video, and like I said, if you guys did agree with a portion of my reviews, go ahead and just drop a like and let them know, hey, I did agree with most of the stuff that this guy came out with. If you didn't come in agreements with a couple of things, sit there and write it in the description, man. Just let me know what you feel, and just let them know how you feel about my review. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to be pulling out and enjoying the last couple of minutes that this demo is going to be out with. So yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next one. I'm Demo, and I'm out. Peace.